been together for a while, haven't we, Andrew?
No, not for ages.
Not for ages. We've had a little bit of an Easter break, but that's all done now. So we thought we'll make something tonight full of all of the stuff that we had left over in the fridge after our big Easter shopping weekend. So we're going to be making a vegan tofu special fried rice. So without further ado, firstly, let's show you all the ingredients we're going to be using. So we've got obviously I've already done some prep, some red onions, some mushrooms, some green beans, some frozen peas, that's a red onion. Had a bit of frozen cauliflower and butternut squash. I've just left them there to thaw out for a little while. Not quite thawed yet. Garlic and ginger. Then I've got some coriander, peanut butter, some spring onions. And in here is some tofu that's been pressing. So what I'm going to do is start with the tofu. So before we cook it, I've just had it pressing in a tea towel, so it's kind of nice and rinsed out of all the water. So I'm going to cut this into cubes. So as you can see, just cubing it up and popping it in a bowl here. There we go. So there's all my little cubes. We're going to be frying this up in a few minutes, but I just want to coat it first. So I've got some corn flour here. So we'll just sort of sprinkle a couple of teaspoons of corn flour over it all, like so. And then I've also got some Chinese 5 spice. So just a nice sprinkling of that. A little bit of chili flakes, not too much, Andrew's tummy. And then my salt's nearly empty. I need to refill it. And some black pepper. Okay. And now what I'm going to do with this, I've just got a dinner plate. I'm going to pop that on the top. You can also put this into a Tupperware box and then put the lid on, but this is just as easy. I'm going to hold the lid on tight and just give it a little shake and a rotate, just so it's all nicely coated, which it now is. So I've got my rice in the pan. This is just basmati rice. This in some water. If you want to know the correct amount of water to put in, if you put your finger in, so it's just touching the rice, it needs to come up to your first knuckle. That's how much to put in. So let's pop that on. And now, let's put this one on to cook the tofu. So I've just got some rapeseed oil here. So just put a splash of that in. And then I'm just going to add in a bit of sesame oil as well. Like that. And then when that's heated up, the tofu, will go in. I just get my tong, which is my preferred cooking utensil. Easter's always been a special time of year for me. I like the idea of it's just basically celebrating the spring, getting together with family and friends, and just nice excuse for lots of delicious food and celebrating together.
Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger likes Easter a lot, doesn't he?
He does, darling. This is Andrew's favourite. Go on, Andrew, tell your favourite joke while I put this in.
Arnold Schwarzenegger with his girlfriend on Boxing Day after Christmas, and they was enjoying a turkey sandwich, and Arnold's girlfriend said, "I really enjoyed spending Christmas with you, Arnie. Did you enjoy spending Christmas with me?" And he said, "Yes, but I still love Easter, baby."
I love the fact that every time you tell that joke, you always laugh. Like, you never don't find it funny. And I find it funny too. Funny. Andrew does tell it well.
I
still love Easter, baby.
Yes.
Right. So this tofu needs to be cooked for probably about 8 to 10 minutes. We're going to turn it regularly. We've got some leftover flour there that can go in the compost. So I'm just going to keep it moving, keep it turning. waiting for the rice to come to the boil. So perhaps we'll catch up with you in a couple of minutes when we're ready for the next segment. Okay, so the rice has just come to the boil, as you can see. So this is what you do. Give it one stir. Pop your lid back on and turn it off and leave it. And that is the way to cook rice. Finger depth of water, rinse it first, give it a good wash first.
Check all air traffic within 5 miles. Get that finger out of your ear. You don't know where that finger's been.
Finger depth of water, bring it to the boil, one stir, lid on, turn it off, leave it for 10 minutes. Perfect rice every time, trust me. This tofu is basically done. Ooh. So I'm just going to transfer this out onto a piece of kitchen towel. Okay, so we're going to start cooking the veggies now. So the pan's back on, and let's add in the red onion. So we're just going to kind of like cook up all these vegetables essentially, and then add the rice into it. But these obviously need to cook down for a little bit first. And I'm also going to be making a sauce, so we'll make the sauce in just a moment. I'm just going to chuck the peppers straight in as well and get those cooking. And yeah, let's put the mushrooms in while we're at it. Okay. So these are going to take a few minutes to start cooking down before we add the next bits. Meanwhile, I'm going to make my sauce. So, use one of these bowls. No need to wash up. So, got some peanut butter here. Beautiful, beautiful peanut butter. So we need about a good kind of couple of tablespoons really of peanut butter. But this is a crunchy peanut butter, which is always nice to have the little bits of nuts in. And then we're going to add some soy sauce. I've got one bottle here with a tiny bit left, so we'll use that up. And then I will put some of this one in. So about equal amounts of soy sauce and peanut butter. Got a little bit of vegan fish sauce. You don't need to use this if it's something you don't have, but I'll just put a splash of that in. And then I've got a lime. So I reckon half a lime, the juice of, that is. And then we need something sweet. So I've gone with some coconut sugar. We'll put a couple of teaspoons of that in. And then we're also going to add a bit more of the sesame oil. Just a little splash. And let's give it all a mix up and see how it's looking. We might need to adjust it a little bit, but we'll see how we go. Okay. I reckon that's looking pretty decent. So we'll put that to one side. Everything's cooking up here quite nicely. Let's add in the green beans. So this really is a meal of just what we had. So as you can see, there's not many green beans in it. I had a small handful of them and I've just chopped them. So thought, yep, they all work. Let's put them in. Now, this is still a little bit frozen, but that's okay because it is defrosted somewhat. I'm able to kind of give it a chop. So these are just like cauliflower florets that were frozen. Yep, let's whack those in. Ooh. Okay. It's all come together quite nicely. I feel like we need to add some flavour in here now. So I have got, as you saw earlier, the coriander. So I actually separated the stems from the leaves. So I'm just going to chop up the stems of the coriander, which have a lovely flavour. It's not worth wasting these. I mean, quite often people just pick the leaves off and just literally just use the leaves, but the stems have a lovely flavour to them and they fry up pretty decently. I mean, there's only a small amount here, but it will definitely add to the flavour of the dish. So we put those in. And then of course my garlic and chilli. I don't like to add this in too early because garlic can scorch a little bit if it gets cooked on too much of a high heat too soon. So I quite often add that in slightly a few minutes into the dish when I'm cooking. What else do we have? Oh, just the peas and some spring onions. Right, so this is all cooking down quite nicely now. Let's add in the peas. Oh, and some spring onions. So what I'll do with the spring onions, I think, is I'm just going to, I'll use one of these bowls that I've already utilised. And I'm just going to chop them. I always chop my spring onions just with scissors because it just makes real easy work of it. Now, if you don't already do this, viewers, store your spring onions not in your fridge but in a glass of water or in a vase. And just trim the tops off when you need to use them, and they will regrow. So you can keep them on a sunny windowsill, and a bunch of spring onions will keep going for quite some time. I think this might be ready almost to put the rice in. I'm just going to give the rice a little check, because in theory it should have had enough time to cook down now. So let's, oh, look at that, perfect, nice fluffy rice. There you go, and I haven't touched it. That's the first time I've touched it since the earlier segment when I put the lid on and turned the thing off. So I'm now going to add the rice into my veggies. I'll just do it gradually and mix it through. I'm just going to add in some soy sauce to here. Okay, I'm now going to add the sauce that I've made earlier. There you go, give it a little mixy mix, and in it goes. And we're just going to make sure this is combined through. And then lastly, we'll add back in the tofu to the pan. So, oh, let's just, maybe if I carry it on the kitchen towel like that. This is still quite warm because it was only cooked, you know, 10 minutes ago. So we'll just stir that through, and the heat from the rice will warm the tofu back through. And this is more or less ready to dish up. So I'm going to pop some on a plate and we'll show you what it looks like in just a minute. Okay, so we're kind of ready to go. There is our dinner. Now you can add a few toppings onto this if you choose to. I've just plopped on some of the spring onion and some of the chopped coriander that I showed you earlier. Now I know you love these, don't you, Andrew? These crispy fried onions, as you buy these quite frequently. So we just pop a few of those on top as well. And then I've also got some sesame seeds, which also adds quite a nice little crunchy topping. So there we have it. Dinner ready to be served. Would you like to have a taste, Andrew?
I would, yeah. Hello, it's me, Andrew, the cameraman, and also the quality control officer.
Quality control.
Okay, so let's have a little dive into this then.
It looks pretty decent, doesn't it? I must say. Got some nice colours in there.
That's good.
Yeah.
As it always is.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a lot of textures. You've got the freshness from all of these spring onions and everything on top. We've got a bit of crunchiness coming from these sesame seeds. And then the tofu is kind of like, almost like the meaty sort of texture to it. It's really good.
Excellent. I'm glad you like it.
I mean, a lot of people think, you know, that special fried rice could be a complete meal, but I mean, to be honest, watching the way it's cooked and everything, kind of reminds me of paella. It's not much different, just with different spices from a different place in the world, isn't it?
It's just like a rice dish, really. Rice and vegetables.
Well, yeah, really good. Love that.
Thank you. Well, we're going to sit down now and enjoy our dinner, and I hope you enjoy your dinner too. And we shall see you next time.